Hey, how you doing? I just want to talk about gang stalking and how far it goes back and how far gang stalking goes back in and how far you can trace it back to. And like, you know, I just want to go back to the beginning of the 20th century, like where sort of things like with technology and everything, how everything began, how we first contacted, certain beings, how we first contacted certain people and secret societies and where the world was going to in its stages. And, I want to talk about like World War Two, World War, with Adolf Hitler. I mostly want to talk about Adolf Hitler and how fascinated and obsessed he was with the occult. Like Adolf Hitler was fascinated with magic and ancient mythologies and mysteries and things of the world. He collected all the treasures and relics all across the planet. You know that, and he kept it all. He indoctrinated it into his occult, and they've used all these type of like rituals and things throughout the ages up and even to today. They're still using Adolf Hitler's type of ideology and occultic kind of ways. Other societies, other countries like knew, the dark forces that Adolf Hitler was dealing with. So they also became involved with the dark magic and the dark forces as well and try to understand what the enemy was doing, and everyone eventually became the enemy. Everyone becomes their own enemy with this society that we're living in today. And like, I want to talk about like the MK Ultra program. That's a big part of what's going on in the world today. MK Ultra mind control. If you can control the people's minds, you can control the whole world, right? And you'll have absolute power, and people can. There's certain people that live like gods amongst us. They're controlling everybody in the world that you see today. These elite people. They've got everyone controlled with this program, and threatened and blackmailed with all kinds of spiritual like forces that play. You understand? And this Adolf Hitler program, a cult that it was called the Vril. This occult that Adolf Hitler created. This secret society was called the Vril, and he had a channeler. He had a channeler named Maria Orovsky. Orovsky, I think her last name was Maria Orovsky, and she could communicate with like reptilian beings called the Vril, and they were from a certain star system in our galaxy. And Adolf Hitler, the Nazis, had direct communication with these entities called the Vril, right? These, and from that he created a cult. From that he created a secret society, a Third Reich, evil cult society, and they practiced like magic, and they practiced like channeling and communicating with other forces, with other entities. And how the MK Ultra program associates with all this type of like channeling and communication, right? They would take the soldier, they would take the subject, right, and they would sexually torture the person. They would sexually brainwash the person, and it would be sort of traumatizing to the person. It would be very traumatizing how like sexual and deviant they were being tortured and punished and things, right? And then once they broke the person, they would put a parasitical worm, into the person's eye, right? They would stick a parasitical worm. This is what they said, and they called it vrilling. They called it vrilling people, and they put a worm inside your eye when they sexually traumatize you, and the worm takes over your body, right? This worm takes over your body, right? And you're being hosted by like a parasitical entity that's inside your body. And it's very evil. It's a very twisted like type of like demonic entity that's, in the body and that. And, it's very dark. It's very sinister, with the forces that Adolf Hitler was dealing with. And, he controlled everyone with these type of rituals. And he would put a parasitical worm inside people's eye, in one eye, only one side of the person's eye, right? They didn't put the worm in both eyes, just one eye. And it would go into the person, right, and it would take over the person's mind, and there would be like this split personality. These people would have like a type of split personality when they would be called upon, when they'd be summoned, the other entity would come out of the person, right? And, they had complete control over the person, the vessel, that was being taken over. And, they channeled other entities like reptilian beings. They channeled like reptilian beings and like ladies like Maria Orlovsky, right? She would communicate with these people, right? And, she had direct contact with these people, with these entities. And the Nazis, they say the Nazis, they developed UFOs. They developed all kinds of like technology from these beings. They created all types of like technology and computers and things like that like we don't even know about, that they've been keeping secret from us for a very long time. And they've still got this technology on this planet, and they're using it on people. They've just developed it in other ways. They've developed these type of technologies in other ways where you can mind control the person. You can mind control the entire planet. You know what I mean? They've got the technology to do it. And they more than likely get it from the Nazis. They more than likely learned all this sort of MK Ultra and things from the Nazis. And then they developed it into like Stasi, COINTELPRO. It evolved into other like secret societies, where CIA use it, the FBI, all those type of like tactics to psychologically like take over the person, to be able to control the person's mind. And, they get you to do whatever they want you to fucking do. They create like a Jason Bourne. They create like the Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? They say a few words and they take over you and that. And, they took it from Adolf Hitler. They took all their ideology, mind control from the Nazis. They took all this stuff, these beliefs from the Nazis. And they're still using it today, They've still got Germans. They had their German Nazi scientists developing all kinds of programs, And, they took the Russians took some of the scientists, and the Americans took some of those Nazi scientists. And, they sucked them dry of all the information, And, they created like secret governments and things like that with these Nazi scientists. And they've been controlling us for a very long time. So I just wanted to talk about, the beginnings of MK Ultra and things, and how occultic it is. It's entrenched in it. It's entrenched in black magic and occultic rituals and things like that, with all kinds of like sex and all kinds of deviant things. You understand? And they traumatize the person. They traumatize you and they take over your mind. And Hitler used to put the fucking worms in people's eye even. He even used to do that and take over people completely. And with that being said, take care.